Basi pusha every day. Pusha every day. Pusha every day. Pusha every day.
Good day, everyone. Hope y'all had a splendid day, and I hope y'all are enjoying the events, the episodes so far. You know, let's hope at least one of them speaks to you, right? You must have enjoyed at least one. And if you're new to the channel, welcome, man. I call this the hustle continues, you know, because I'm a learner, entrepreneur, you know, always learning, always grasping, always making mistakes, and just trying to make sure that as we all learn, you probably don't make the same mistakes I did, you know, so that you can have a smoother ride. It's never smooth in this journey, man. One thing sad about it is how lonely it is. I'll touch on that loneliness in another episode. You know, speaking of loneliness, I think we've touched on money. We'll always revisit money. We'll always speak money. Whether it's saving, whether it's funding, whether it's stacking it up, whether it's whatever. I hope you all enjoy them. If you all haven't seen other episodes, get yourself some popcorn and binge on them. If you're new, please subscribe. And if you like these, hit like, you know. Most importantly, hit me up in the comments. Let me know how you feel. What I want to speak about this afternoon is it's selling yourself, you know. It's selling yourself and selling yourself quickly, you know, without any waste of time, you know. Introductions, how to introduce yourself, man, you know. I used to be very bad at introducing myself. I used to be horrible, I guess, man. You know, it's one of those where I didn't understand that you have to introduce yourself in order to sell. And trust you me, once I understood the whole science behind it, I've just never looked back, you know. I do a lot of presentations, like I said in previous slides. Now I'm speaking presentation, now I'm speaking slides. In previous episodes, and something that's very key, very important to me in every presentation, especially if I'm gonna be presenting to people that are seeing me for the very first time, is how I introduce myself. You know, I always want to leave a mark in how I introduce myself. You know, I want them to remember me, you know. And I don't have to act, I don't have to look rich. I think you already know how I feel about that from watching some previous episodes, you know, how we've been lied to about money going to money. Now you have to look like this thing that you cannot afford. You know, I'm very cagey with regards to that, but always leave a mark, you know. I'll give you a simple example. I mean, you know, when I got to insurances, in fact, before insurance, you know, when I was working for SAB, you know, I think I went to the sales academy. And they taught us a lot about introduction, but they taught us a lot about introducing yourself to different people, you know. If you get to this guy that owns a shebeen, how you more likely to introduce yourself as opposed to that guy that owns a big image top house, you know, some club, some pub, you know, how you probably want to introduce yourself to that dude, you know. Whether you want to speak numbers, that speaks to him, whether you want to speak tablecloths and glasses, you know, because they like different things They're expecting different things from you as a rep. So introduction is very important, in terms of breaking that ice and sometimes just getting through the door, man, or getting that appointment. Especially if you're going to do a lot of cold calling, which I did. I did a lot of cold calling, So when you do a lot of cold calling, I remember when I was selling funeral covers, I was taught that every sale is made on emotion. And we were taught a track, that you're going to go and say, "Hi, Paul, how are you? Do you have children? How old are they? Do you love your kids, Paul?" That whole track. How would you feel if something bad happened to them? I'm sure you would be devastated, huh? That whole thing. And you try to understand, but why don't they just give you these funeral policies to go sell? But the whole thing was about, look, every sale is made on emotion, so you need to bring out that emotion, so that when the person makes that decision, they must feel that I love my kids, I'm doing this for them, It was the same everywhere, man. With Liberty, you were the financial advisor, so you're gonna speak finances, investments for kids, investments for post your life, investments in terms of estate planning, all sorts of things like that, So how are you going to be a financial advisor when you're not, when and it almost contradicts what I'm against in terms of saying, look, you need to look like money in order to make money. But with financial advising, you need to sound like money. You need to sound like you know what you're doing. But you're not taking that financial image on you as a person. So you actually carry the financial strength of the business, So you'd pretty much get there and say, "Hi, I'm Tebogo. I'm from Liberty Life, or I'm from whatever." I'll say Liberty Life because I used to work for Liberty Life back in the years. And you'd pretty much speak about Liberty Life, and say, Liberty is a registered FSP, whatever. Yeah, financial services provider with a very strong financial portfolio, strong asset this, we own this, we own that, we own this, we own that. So by the time you're done, the person or the prospect has some sort of confidence in you. You don't just get there and say, "Hi, do you have insurance? Can I quote you on an insurance?" Not like these people on the phone. So you try to break the ice, And that used to work a lot. That's very important. But I still didn't get the point for a very long time, up until I think it was 2008. It was 2008, just before the Soccer World Cup in South Africa, when all the brands were coming here, all the FIFA partners were coming into South Africa to prepare for the World Cup. One of the partners that came was Budweiser. Budweiser came into South Africa, and I got the job or the responsibility to develop or look after their affairs in South Africa, manage that brand, So I went I represented that brand pretty much, So I remember one of the trips, let me tell you the story. We went to America with my boss, to St. Louis, to Budweiser's headquarters. It was a lot of us who represented Budweiser from across the globe, where we were going to get a presentation pretty much, I think, about how what World Cup communication strategy Budweiser has globally that we pretty much need to follow. But because it was hosted in South Africa, you can imagine we had like a bigger voice there in terms of what the direction would be as far as South Africa goes. But I wasn't there to speak. I think I was just tagging along with my boss. He was the one that's going to present it, But because I'm that guy that's on the ground running with it, I was asked to introduce myself, Like, Tebogo, can you please tell us about yourself? You know that question, don't take it lightly. I mean, we're in a boardroom, there's a whole lot of us there. And I was asked to introduce myself. And because I just assumed, I mean, the fuck, man, y'all know me, we've introduced in the corridors, we've been drinking, or not that day, but I mean last night. So when this question came now, and I was the first because now we South Africa, so I was like, Tebogo, can you introduce yourself for us, the people that don't know you around the table? And I was like, hi, I'm Tebogo Masike. I'm from South Africa. I work for a company called so-and-so. I'm literally the one taking care of the brand that side. We're looking forward to the World Cup, yeah, man, that was pretty much my introduction. It went something like that. And my manager went mad. I've never seen him, or I'd never seen him so angry, man, And he stopped me, he stopped me in my casual self there. He's like, no, Tebogo is selling himself short. That's what he said, and he rectified this whole thing, Said, excuse me, he said Tebogo is this is his background, this is what he's achieved, this is his contacts, very knowledgeable of the market, of the township trends, of this, of that, of this, of this. He pretty much went and explained me in a short 30 seconds to a minute. And what he explained, what he was doing there is that he was explaining my capacity. I'd never been that embarrassed. He sold me. Because I took it lightly. From that day, I never took introductions lightly. And even after that, he came and spoke to me. He's like, Tebogo, never ever do that again. He said, never ever do that again. It doesn't matter where you are, what you're selling. When you introduce yourself to people that don't know you, you are introducing your capacity. Nothing else. It is where all these other things made sense. All these tracks that we were taught at insurance companies and so forth. Like even with Liberty, I mean, I was pretty much introducing Liberty's capacity to handle your policy, to handle your finances. That's all, It was capacity. And that helped me a lot going forward because even in my profiles, first page, about us or whatever, was straight to the point. This is who we are, this is when we were formed, and this is our capacity. And when we are formed, let me tell you why it's important. You don't put it everywhere. If I formed this year, if I just formed the business a week ago, I'm not going to put when we were formed. Because it's actually a weakness. We're just a week old. But if we were formed in 2009, like we are, I'll put it up there, we formed in 2009. Because what it's basically telling you is that we've got 11 years of experience. Just that alone. If I tell you my client is Tiger Brands, it's already telling you that something about my capacity. If I mention 6, 7, 8 other clients that we've done work for, or we do work for, it's just showing you the scale of my capacity. So everything I say, even if I put it in 2-3 lines, is about capacity. I am telling you what I'm capable of doing. Even before I tell you what I want to do for you. Even before I tell you what product I'm trying to sell you. I already got your attention that, hey, you're speaking to someone here who's capable. I mention black. I can see you black. Come and tell me I'm 100% black, especially now you came, you and your partner, your whole fucking management is here in front of me in my boardroom. Y'all are busy telling me how black you are. Unless that blackness is what I need, to get that deal, keep it to yourself. I can see you are black. Wait for me to ask you about BEE and all sorts of useless things, and whatnot. Tell me about your capacity. I'll only ask you about your BEE if now I'm ready to do business with you, because all that information is useless if I'm not going to do business with you anyway. We are 50% female. We are what? Dude, I'll ask you that if I'm interested. Capacity. Remember that, think about that. Anyway where you have to introduce yourself. If you get into a meeting with me and I don't know you, I don't know your friend that you came with, and I'm like, who's this guy? Don't waste my time. Don't tell me, no, don't mind him, he's my friend, don't mind him, he's my PA. I'll kick him out of my boardroom. Tell me, what is he capable of? Then I understand, oh, this is somebody I might have to know. You're expanding network here. Well done. Think about it. Stop wasting time with all irrelevant information out there. I made a lot of mistakes, embarrassing mistakes, I'm telling you. To this day, I don't. You should see me when I walk inside presentations. Like I'm a beast, So yeah, that's what I had in mind today, man. So I think that's where I'm gonna cap it. Don't go out there talking yourself out of deals even before you get into the talk of the deal, I remember one incident. Before I shut this down, I remember one incident. We went to a tender briefing, long ago, when I thought I could get tenders. And there was a white guy in there. And I think at some point he realized that, you know what, I'm not going to get this tender. There's certain boxes I don't tick, maybe BE, maybe whatever. And he decided to walk out of the briefing. But before he walked out of the briefing, he stood up. And he said, I can't remember what project it was, but it was a project that required a lot of logistics and people and vans and things like that, And he stood up. And he said, look, all the best to whoever is going to win this. But what I want to do is introduce myself. And he gave everybody his business card. He said, I just want to introduce myself. And in that introduction, he told us about his capacity. He said, I have an army of men. And I'm just quoting him verbatim now. He said, I have an army of men. I got a fleet of vehicles. I got strong capacity for anybody that wins this. If you need any help, I'm more than willing to work with you. And he walked out. I don't forget that guy. He introduced himself and he told us about his capacity in one line, and he left that. I don't know who won that tender, but I'm pretty much sure he must have used his number. Be very smart when you introduce yourself. Introductions are everything. Introductions are everything. Even if people don't get to work with you that day, but because you said something in an introduction, you stay in their minds. Hit like if you think you might relate. Hit subscribe. See you on another episode.